Good evening, all of you. So, in our day 8, we are going to discuss about recursion and followed by different types of examples like factorial using a recursion and Fibonacci series using a recursion. And after that, we are going to discuss about structure, definition, declaration of a structure, and how we'll going to access the structure. We will go and discuss in the previous in a day 18. So now it is a day 19. In a day 19, so we'll go and continue the about structures. So before that, I want move to the next topic of inside the structure. So just I want to revision the previous what you have discussed. So in a previous class, we are going to discuss about definition of a structure. So what is a structure? So structure is a collection of different data types. So structure is a collection of different data items, and these different data items which will go and share a common name or single name. So whereas array is a similar data types and which will go and share a common name only. But array is a similar data types. So all the elements will be going to share a common data type. So whereas in structure it is a different data types. The structure contain different data types and which will be in a single name. And here in a structure, the data items or variables in the structure are called as the members of the structure. So whereas in array, the data items or variables of a array can be called as elements. So elements of the array. So that is the difference between array and the structures. So array is a collection of data items and which will go and share a common name, and whereas a structure is a collection of different data items and which will go on to share a common name also. And in array, the variables or data items in the array are called as elements of the array. So whereas in structure, the variables or data items of the structure are called as members of the structure. So that is about a definition of a structure. Now coming to declaration, how we will go and declare the structure. So by using a syntax, struct followed by structure name and followed by different types of data types, and the structure will be terminated by closing curly brackets and followed by semicolon. So it will be only declaration. So while declaring of structure, it cannot be going to allocated any memory space. So for this structure members, so whenever you are going to define the structure, so then only for the structure members is going to allocate the memory space in the computer. So while a declaration of a structure, it has not going to allocated sufficient it has not going to allocated for the memory for the variables. So this is only the declaration. So the declaration of structure will be like this: struct and followed by employee. So here struct is a keyword and followed by structure name. The structure name is employee and followed by open curly brackets and data type and followed by structure member, that is employee number, and data type is character and followed by structure member, that is a employee name, and data type and followed by structure member, that is a float data type, and it is a salary member, and the structure will be terminated by semicolon. So this is only the structure declaration. So whenever you are going to define a structure variable, then only the memory will be allocated for these members. So now let us continue the next one. So defining a structure. So what is the difference between declaring of a structure and defining a structure? So that is nothing but, so while defining a structure, you have to define the structure variable. So whenever you have to defining a structure variable, so then only the structure variables allocate the sufficient memory space for the structure members. So whereas in previous slide, so I'm not going to define any structure variable. So I'm not going to define any structure variable. So it will be only declaration of the structure or prototype of the structure. So whereas defining a structure, I'm going to use a structure variable. So whenever you have to use a structure variable, so then only it will go and allocate sufficient memory space to all the members of the structure. So that is a meaning for defining a structure. So for defining a structure, you have to use a syntax struct followed by structure name and followed by different types of data types, and followed by we have to enter structure variable and followed by semicolon. So we can use a number of structure variables, or you can create any number of structure variables for accessing of the structure members. So that's why here I'm writing structure or structure variables. So can create more than one structure variable for accessing of the structure members. So whenever you have to create a structure member variable, then only it will go and allocate the sufficient memory space for the members. So that is the meaning for defining a structure. And this is an example. So in this example, I'm going to use a data type is integer and followed by employee, and a character and followed by emp name, and it will be contain 10 characters, and a float and followed by salary and followed by emp1. So it is a structure variable. So with help of this structure variable, you can access the employee number, or you can access the employee name, or you can access the salary of the employee. So how will going to access? So for example, I want to access employee name or employee number, then I will be use my structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by emp number. So if suppose I want access a employee number in my structure, then you can use a structure variable followed by dot operator and followed by employee number. So if you want to initialize the employee number, so it will be also possible, you can initialize the employee number like is equal to followed by number. So that is equal to number and followed by semicolon. So if you want to initialize the structure members, then it will be possible, you can initialize with help of a structure variable followed by dot operator and followed by structure member is equal to followed by value, and it will be terminated by semicolon. So this is a memory allocation of the structure. So for employee, it is a integer data type. So that's why it will going to occupy 2 bytes. For employee name, so for example, it is employee name. So for employee name, it is a character data type. So this character data type is going to occupy only 1 byte. So only 1 byte and followed by number of characters. So here it contain number of characters will be 10. So that's why the character data type will be 1 into the number of characters will be 10. That is equal to 10 bytes of memory, which will go and allocated for the character, that means the employee name. So it will be a 10 bytes. So it will go and occupy 10 bytes of memory for employee name. And the float, it is a salary, and the float data type is going to occupy 4 bytes of memory. So it will go to occupy 4 bytes of memory. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying. So for every structure members having their own memory space. So for every structure members having their own memory allocation. So this is one of the important point you have to keep in mind. So in a structure members, for every structure member is going to share or is going to having their own memory space. So according to data types, which will go to occupy 2 bytes or 1 byte or 4 bytes and so on. So but here you have to remember all these structure members are having their own memory space. So this is a memory allocation for this structure. And next one is accessing. So how to access this structure members? So I said that if you want to access a structure members, then you have to use a structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by structure member or structure name. So for example, in the previous slide I am showing a emp1. So emp1 dot and followed by employee number. So like that you can access the structure members. So here emp1 is a structure variable and followed by dot operator, and emp number is a emp1 is a structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by emp number. So emp number is a member of the structure. So like that you can access the structure members. So if you have any doubts, please post your query in the chat box. So for accessing of a structure members, we have to use a structure variable followed by dot operator and followed by structure member name. So for example, here I am writing a structure. Uh, I am going to declare the structure inside of the main function. So I'm going to declare the structure inside of the main function, or you can also declare the structure separately. That means you can declare the structure outside the main function also. So you can declare the structure in two ways. You can declare inside the main function or outside the main function also. You can write the structure. So in this example, I'm going to use the structure inside the main function. So this is a structure, and here the name of the structure will be book. So book is a structure name, and the members of the structure will be title, book title, and it will be character data type, and pages, number of pages in the book. So it is a integer data type, and price of the book, and it is a float data type. So if we want to initialize the structure members, then you have to use this index struct followed by structure name, that is a book name, that is a, here I am using a structure name is book. So then you have to use a book and followed by structure variable. So here b1 is a structure variable is equal to followed by list of values. So the list of values are separated by comma, and it will be terminated by semicolon. So like that you can initialize the structure members. So I repeat, if you want to initialize the structure members, or if you want to assign values to the structure members, then you have to use this following syntax: struct followed by structure name and followed by structure variable is equal to list of values. So the list of values are separated by comma, and it will be terminated by semicolon. So in this example, I am using struct book is a structure name, and followed by b1 is a structure variable is equal to followed by my book name and followed by number of pages and followed by price of the book. So now if you want to access the particular title or particular pages or particular price, then you have to use printf function, and with the help of a printf function you can display the title of the book, or display the number of pages of the book, or display the price of the book. So for that, what you have to do, so you can use a structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by structure name, structure member. So similarly, I am using for displaying of pages, I am using a structure variable. So here I am using a structure variable will be b1. So then I will write b1 dot and followed by pages. And similarly, third one b1 dot price. So by using a structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by structure member or structure name, you can access the structure members. So let us run this code. So let us execute this code in a Turbo C++. So for that, what you have to do, so can open the so here I am going to open the notepad, and I am going to save the my program. So save. So by default my location will be saved in Turbo C3 and bin folder, and you can change the save type will be all files, and after that you can write here struct. So I am writing a struct1.c. So it is a C program, so that's why I am giving extension will be .c, and you can save the program. So now the program is saved. Now you can open the Turbo C. So you can open the Turbo C++. Okay, now it will be open. So just I will maximize my window. You can press Alt Enter. Then you want to maximize the window. Now you can go for open, and it is a .c. So my file name is struct. So I'm going to looking for struct. So this is my program. Now press enter. So now this is my program. So now I'm going to compile this program. So there is no errors, and I'm going to run the program. So this is the output of the given problem. So I'm going to display the title of the book, and I'm going to display the number of pages, and I'm going to display the price of the book. So for that, what you have to do, you need to use a structure variable, that is a b1, and followed by dot operator and followed by structure members. So I said that you can use a structure. So can use a structure inside of the main function, or you can use a structure outside of the main function also. So here also you can use. So it's not a problem. Okay, now clear? I hope you'll be understanding what I am saying. So like this also you can use this structure. So you can use the structure separately, or you can use a main function separately, or otherwise you can use a structure inside of the main function. So like this. So void main and followed by open curly brackets. Like this also you can use this structure in C programming. So now I am coming to next one. So that is about for accessing of a structure and followed by example. So with help of a structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by structure member, you can access the structure members. So now let us coming into initialization. So how you are going to initialize the variables. So I said that in a previous example, if you want to initialize the structure members, then you have to use a struct followed by structure name and followed by structure variable is equal to list of values. So with help of a structure variable, you can initialize the structure members. So let us see the initialization of a structure. So for initializing of a structure, so I'm going to use a syntax. Struct, it is a keyword and followed by structure name and followed by data type and followed by members of the structure, and followed by structure variable is equal to list of values. So the list of values are separated by comma and it will be terminated by semicolon. So for example, if you want to initialize a structure variable, then my example will be here I am taking a structure name is employee and followed by height of the employee, it is integer data type, and weight of the employee, it is a float data type, and followed by employee variable, I mean a structure variable. So structure variable is emp1 is equal to followed by list of values. So here height is a 154 and weight is a 77.9 kgs. I hope you will be understanding how we are going to initialize the structure variables. So if you want to initialize a structure variable, then you have to use a structure variable followed by equal operator and followed by list of values. So the list of values can be right in between open and closing curly brackets, and it will be terminated by semicolon. So like this. So like this you can initialize the structure members. So this is another program. So I want to initialize the structure. So this is for initializing the structure. So in this example, I am writing the structure separately. So I said that you can use the structure outside the main function or inside the main function. So in this example, I am writing the structure outside of my main function. So the structure name in this example is struct followed by student. So student is the structure name, and followed by the student having a different types of fields like roll number, and it is an integer data type, and a student name, and it is a character data type, and here I'm using a S3. So S3 indicate that it is a structure variable. So if you want to access roll number and name, then you have to use S3 and followed by dot operator and followed by structure member. So with help of this structure variable, you can access the structure members. So now I'm going to use a main function after writing of a structure. Now I'm going to use a main function, and here I'm writing, I'm going to create a one more variable. So previously I said that you can create any number of variables for this structure. You can create any number of variables for the structure. So here in my main function also I'm going to create one more variable, that is S1. So S1 is equal to followed by roll number. The roll number is 123 and name is Sai. And I'm going to create another variable S2. So S2 is equal to the roll number will be 456 and followed by name will be Kumar. So now I'm going to access S1 data, and I'm going to access S2 data. With help of S2 I'm going to access roll number name, and with help of S3 I'm going to access roll number and name of the student. How will going to access? So here I'm using a printf function. So name is equal to followed by formatted string, that is a %s comma. So here /n is used for printing my output in a new line. So if you want printing a output in new line, you can use a \n in the formatted strings. So comma and followed by s1 dot name. So here the s1 value will be the S1 name. So the S1 name will be Sai. So the S1 name will be Sai. So next I want to display the roll number of the S1, student 1. So then I will going to use S1 dot followed by roll number. So then it will go and access this roll number. So S1 data which will go to assign, or it will go to initialize to these variables. So next I'm going to create another S2 variable. So then I will write printf name is equal to %d /n and followed by comma S2 dot name. So in this example, then it will go and access name of S2. So in S2 name will be Kumar. So that will be going to access, and S2 dot roll number. So then it will go and access 456 roll number for S2. So what about S3? So what about S3? So I'm not going to initialize S3 variable. So I don't know what is the roll number for S3, and I don't know what is the name for the S3. So for that, what you have to do here? So I'm going to assign values of S1 to S3. So I'm going to assign what are the values of S1, that is a 123 roll number and name is Sai, that will be assigned to S3 structure variable. So then I'm going to after assigning these variables, then I'm going to display. So name is followed by S3 dot name and roll number is followed by %d comma S3 dot roll number. So I hope you'll be understanding the explanation of the program. So now I'm going to compile this code. So just what you do, you can copy this code, and here I will take one more file. So then I want save. So while saving, you have to do. So I will save struct2.c and followed by save type will be all files. Then you can save the program. So now I'm go to my and I'm go to open, and I'm looking for struct2. So otherwise you can close and you can open once again. So now I'm going to go for open, and I want searching for .c file, and this is a struct2. So now I'm going to compile the program. So there is no errors in my code, and I'm going to run the program. Now this is output. So for S1 So the name will be Sai and roll number will be 123, and for S2 name is equal to Kumar and roll number is equal to 456. For S3 I am not going to initialize any values. So for that what I have to do, what I have to do in the program, so I am going to copy the S1 data into S3. So I simply assign the S1 data into S3. So that's why it will go display for S3 variable name is equal to Sai and roll number is equal to 123 only. So that is the output of the program. So I said that before, you can use a structure outside the main function also, or you can use a structure inside the main function also. So if you have any doubts, please post your query in the chat box. So this is a initialization of the structure. So next one, assigning values. So you can assign the values to the members like this also. For example, roll number. Okay, roll number. Then you have to use a structure variable. So here I am using a structure variable is S. So S is a structure variable. Now I am going to use a roll number is equal to 32. So like this also we are going to assign the values to the structure members, or like this also can initialize the values to the structure members. So with help of a structure variable and followed by dot operator, we will go and access, we will go and initialize members of the structure. That is, here I am initializing roll number that is equal to 32 and terminated by semicolon. And similarly, I am going to assign name and branch of the student. Then I will be use a string copy function. So with help of string copy function also, you can save, or you can initialize the value to the name like this. So s1 dot name comma and followed by Sai. So that will be assigned to name, and string copy s1 dot s dot branch comma followed by CSC. So like this also we'll going to assign the values to the structure members, or otherwise we have to use a structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by name. So name is equal to and followed by, we have tried in name is a string, that's why you have tried in double quotes and followed by name of the student. So here I am writing simply hi, and branch of the student. Now we have to use instead of writing strcpy, we will also write like this. So will be also write like this. So structure variable followed by dot operator and followed by structure member is equal to followed by write in double quotes your name of the student. And similarly, if you want to assign a branch, so you are using a string copy. So you can also use a structure variable followed by dot operator and followed by branch. So branch is equal to followed by CSC. So followed by CSC. So it is a string. So that's why you can write in double quotes. So like this also we'll going to assign the values to the structure members. I hope you'll be understanding what I am saying. So after assigning values to the roll number, name and branch, then you have to display roll number and branch and name of the student with help of a structure variable and followed by dot operator. So let us compile this code also in the Turbo C++. So I want just to copy my code and I want to paste it into the notepad and save. So while saving this file, I will use struct3.c and the save type will be all files, and that will be saved into the Turbo C3 and followed by bin folder. So now I am going to open the Turbo C++ software. So then I am going to go for file. So then open, then you can looking for .c file structure. So now in this time I am created struct 3. So this is a program. Now you can uh, compile the program. For that you can go for compile or alt F9. So there is a one error here, so that will be entered. So I think it is a semicolon mistakes. So now I am going to compile the program once again. So there is no errors in this time. So now you can uh, execute the program, or you can run the program by pressing a Control F, Alt F9. So then, sorry, Control F9. So then this is your output of the program. So Sai, name is Sai, and branch is 32, and followed by roll number is branch is CSC, and followed by roll number is 32. So like this also, you can assign the values to the structure members. So that is a program for assigning values to the structure members. So for example, instead of assigning values to the structure members, then I want to read data from the keyboard. So instead of assigning values to the structure members, then I want to read a data from the keyboard. For that, what you have to do? So for that, what you have to do? You need to write a structure. So here I am taking a structure. Structure is a account. The structure name is account, and it contains number, account number, and account name, and balance of the balance. So now I'm going to asking a value from the keyboard, that is enter the account holder name. So by using a gets function and followed by structure variable and followed by dot operator, I'm going to access the name of the account. So similarly, I'm going to display the one more message, enter the account number. So in this time, I'm using a scanner function and followed by formatter string and followed by address of and followed by structure variable, that is a and followed by dot operator and followed by structure member, that is a number is a structure member. Or you can use uh, gets also, or you can use for reading of number will be use only scanner function. And similarly I'm going to use again for entering of a balance of the account. So I'm going to use a scanner function and followed by float data type and followed by address of a dot balance. So after that, I'm going to display the details. What are the account number, what is the account name, and what is the balance. I'm going to read from the keyboard. So same thing I want to display on the screen with help of a structure variable followed by dot operator and followed by structure member. So now let us execute this code in a Turbo C++. So just you can copy the code and you can open uh, again you can open a Turbo C++. So now I'm go to Alt W. So I'm going to Alt W and I'm going to close. So I'm going to close all the windows. Okay, I'm going to close all the windows. Or close all. So I'm going to close all the windows. Now I'm going to open freshly .c. So I'm not going to save the program. So just I want to open a notepad. So you can copy and paste and save the program, and you can save type will be all files, and here you can enter struct 4.c and save. So now you can go to the turbo C plus and go to open and looking for .c. So the file name is struct. So now I will be once again I will be open the turbo C. So now I will go for open option, and the file name is structure. So now in this time I will go and select the structure 4. So this is a small I'm going to change the code, double quotes, and here also I'm using double quotes. So that is a thing. Now you can go for compilation, and there is no errors, and you can run the program. So now it will be asking a account holder name from the keyboard. Now I'm going to type from the keyboard as a Sai, and account number is 123, and balance will be 1500, and same thing which will go on display on the screen. So what are the input you are going to give into the program? So same details which will go to display on the screen. So that is a program for reading a input from the keyboard, and the same thing you can display on the screen. So that is about reading data from the keyboard and display same thing on the screen. And next one is nested structures. So up to now you have to discuss about structures. So now it will be also possible to use a structure within another structure. So it will be also possible to use a structure within another structure. Like I am using a main structure is a struct employee, and it contain members are employee name and a name, and followed by I am using another structure employee address, and followed by it contain a number, street, area, and a pin code, and my substructure variable is address. And now I'm going to continue for writing of a main structure. So in main structure it contains two variables, but I'm not going to close the main structure. Now I'm going to use one more variable, that is a department name and salary of the employee, and after that I'm going to create a two variables for the main structure, that is emp1 comma emp2. So these two will be belongs to employee main structure variables, and substructure name is employee address. So for that the variable will be address is a structure variable, that is a substructure variable for employee address. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying. So you can declare the structure within another structure. It will be also possible. If you declare the structure, simply structure with help of a structure variable and followed by dot operator, you can access the structure. So whereas if it is a nested structure, how can you access the substructure members? So here you can use the syntax main structure variable followed by dot operator and followed by substructure variable followed by dot operator and followed by substructure members. So you are already know how to access the main structure members. Like in the previous all examples will be explained by using a structure variable followed by dot operator and followed by structure member, you can access the main structure variables. So whereas now here I am going to use a substructure here. So for that, if you want to access the substructure of the structure members, then you have to use this syntax, that is called main structure variable dot followed by substructure variable dot and followed by substructure members. So for example, if I want access street of the employee, so employee address, it is a substructure member. Then I want to use main structure variable is emp1. So emp1 dot and followed by substructure variable is address, and followed by dot operator, and followed by substructure member. So my substructure member is street. I hope you'll be understanding what I am saying. If it is a main structure, then you have to use a structure variable followed by data operator and followed by structure member. If it is a nested structure, then you have to use a main structure variable followed by data operator and followed by substructure variable and followed by data operator and followed by substructure members. So for accessing of outside the structure, general like what you have discussed in the previous slides. For accessing of main structure, we will going to use emp1 dot followed by emp number or emp1 dot followed by name. For accessing of only nested structure, then you have to use this syntax. That is called emp1 dot and address dot and followed by street. emp1 dot address dot followed by area. emp1 dot address dot followed by pin code. So like that, we will go to access the substructure members. So this is about array of structures. So we will going to continue this array of structures in the next class. So we will go and discuss in the array of structure in the next class. And up to now, if you have any doubts in the nested structure, or if you have any doubts in the assigning of a variables for the structure, or initializing of a structure, and accessing of a structure, or defining or declaration of a structure, if you have any doubts, so please post your queries in the chat box. I will try to answer your queries. So that's all about today's session. And if you have any doubts, so can ask me. I will try to explain. So while watching my video, if you have any doubts, you can post your comments or post your query in the chat box also. So that's all about today's session. If you like this video, please click on thumbs up button. If you like this video, please click on a thumbs up button. You can like this video, and also if you are not subscribed my channel, so please subscribe my channel. So thank you. That's all about today's session. We'll go and meet in the day 20 tomorrow. Have a nice day. Thank you.